Hi, this is Michael again, your millionaire mentor, and today I'm going to talk about this topic over here. Why people lose money buying from developers. Now, I don't mean that buying properties from developers lose money, but most people lose money because they don't understand how to play the game while buying from developers. So if you are interested about this, stay tuned right now where I share with you how you're going to make money buying new properties, alright? So in today's topic over here, it's a very simple topic. I'm actually talking to people who are investing into properties right now. So if you're an investor and you have not made big money coming into properties from developer yet, I just want to share with you a couple of basics first. So first and foremost, how do you make money from developers? Basically, you make that money from only two areas, which is how you're going to rent it out for a very high price, or the second thing you're going to do is you're going to sell it out at a very high price. But the deal is this: how you're going to rent it out and how you're going to sell it out from the developers depend on one very crucial thing, which I'm going to share with you right now. So if you're ready, just stand by to this, right? So I'm going to share something called a developer, I call it the developer UCurve. Have you heard about this before? Because what this really means is that the developer will go through what we call a roller coaster ride. More often than not, a developer project pricing will go through a roller coaster of price, right, before it starts to stabilize. Now, if you are actually an investor right now, actually in the stock market, you would know that a developer project is very similar to an IPO. And if you look at many IPO projects right now, they have two characteristics. Some of them, maybe they're very good, it tends to go up immediately in price. Some other types of shares out there, the price may dip in the beginning before it starts to climb up. Now, why does that happen? So I'm going to explain about this right now because the phenomenon is actually similar to a developer project. So are you ready? Let's go. So this developer UCurve basically happens in many of the projects over here because of a couple of things. So let me just explain this out. When the property just starts to get launched, so this basically happens after a certain period of time. When you buy the property, at the point of buying the property, all right, you basically go through a whole period of time before the property gets to go, before the property is launched. So buying it at pre-launch, you actually buy from pre-launch first, then maybe or at launch stage. Then after that, they're going to start the construction. So at this point over here, just about 1 or 2 weeks before you actually get the keys, you actually go through something called VP. What's VP? VP means vacant possession. And this is the time where you start to take possession of the property, but the purpose is for you to check for defects. Once you get this done, you come to the point called CCC, which is basically the certificate of fitness is given to you where you can actually move in and stay. It is actually safe. This will be given by the government or the government bodies to the developer to tell them that you are starting to move in. And then you may start to experience this right now. Now, what is this? This is basically the change in pricing. As you can see over here, from the point of launch or pre-launch all the way to the point where it's completed, the price of the property pretty much doesn't change. However, when it enters to this position over here, it is no longer in the developer's hand. It has now entered the sub-sale market, the secondary market. The property has been completed and now it's based to willing buyer, willing seller. So it's demand and supply. When this time comes, you will now start to see two things. So a developer UCurve basically happens because of certain situations. I'm going to share the 3 situations out to you right now. Okay? So situation number 1 is basically, right, there is too many units. So in the event there's too many units out there, high density. Have you heard of density before? So in a point on where there's a lot of density out there, where there are a lot of units, that means the supply is actually more than demand. So it's basically a supply and demand curve we are talking about right now today. When the demand is less than the supply or the supply is more than many of the demands, technically people have to start throwing down prices before you start to pick it up again. So this will happen for the rental market and even for people who want to sell. Say for example, the moment you get your keys, you have 1,000 people over there and now 1,500 of them actually want to sell the units, right? Now this 500 people will be competing among each other over here, and what happens when you have competition? Price starts to drop. It only starts to stabilize at a point where maybe, let's say for example, 300 of the properties has already been sold out and only 200 people left. And you go like, hey, you know, there's still 300 people asking for the properties, therefore the demand starts to pick up more than the supply. Now you can start to increase the price. So this is one of the criteria of what happens in a developer, because in the beginning, there tend to be more units available than the demand that actually comes in. This is also a phenomenon that happens for the rental market. Same thing. If you have more rooms that is actually available than the tenants that actually comes in, you have to start fighting for the prices first, so therefore rental will also go down. So this, my friends, most of this will happen for the rental market as well as the selling price. So fact number 2, this will also happen when there are more investors in the place. So the second reason why this happened is because there are actually more investors in the building than actual homeowners. Now this will not happen if actually homeowners are there, because homeowners will not want to rent it out, and homeowners will definitely not sell their property out. So if there are more homeowners actually buying this project at the beginning, this tend not to happen because, well, the price stays stable. But when you get more than 50% of the properties actually owned by investors, majority of them will not stay. So most of them will either rent or sell it out almost immediately. Therefore, each of these investors becomes your competitors. And last but not least, the last reason how this will happen is this. You may have bought into an overpriced property. When the price of the property is not priced properly, maybe for example right now around the area most of the properties are only going for about 500 to 600,000, but all of a sudden this property came in and it was priced at $1 million. So maybe it's about 40 to 50 to almost 100% above the market value. You would definitely see a U-curve like this, because look, the target market maybe around the surrounding areas are only used to prices of 600 to 700, so they may not acclimatize to your $1 million price first. So most likely the price will definitely go down first. Even the tenants around the area are only paying lower rentals around the area, so they're not prepared to pay a higher rental for you, so that price will go down. And what will happen is it will take some time before the appreciation happens. As a matter of fact, in situations like this, or maybe even situations like this, right, where there's an artificial increase of price, or there are too many investors in the area, the U-curve will actually extend in time. It may take 3 to 5 years before it starts to stabilize again, right? So watch all this right now. So the answer to this right now is this. How do you actually make money from a developer project? You need to check all your exit clauses here first. Make sure that there are not too many units for the property. I would buy properties below 1,000 units in development. Anything above 1,000 tend to have more than 3 years before you can actually get the price to stabilize. I will also find out to make sure that there are not too many investors in the project. If more than 60% of the people are actually investors, that's my red alert picking up, and I would not go into the area. And last but not least, I definitely check my pricing. If the pricing is way above the market price, okay, I would definitely not go in. As a matter of fact, I only buy projects where it is close or equal to, or maybe just 10% above the current market price, to see that I'm competitive enough, and when it's completed, it's easy for me to sell. I hope this has helped you guys out a lot. If you guys like what I have over here, like, share, subscribe, and put in some comments to tell me what else you want to hear so I can do another video for it. This is Michael, your millionaire mentor, signing off right now. Bye!